Good afternoon. It's Bordeaux again. What can I say? I've been in bed. My knee has been up and down a bit, which is fine. I've been getting a great deal done. Encouraged a little bit by some of the other antiquities on the Suki course who said they would go back and start again. I'm very rapidly going through everything that Alex and his friends have taught us and catching up with my paperwork because I'm launching a new thing. Um, and I've had a rethink and I'm ready to go and I feel better. I've had some time off, had a holiday. I'm going to have another one in a month. No, May. So it's all systems go. The weather has turned warmer here. Had um, an interesting Easter weekend because the weather was simply beautiful. It was just perfect. Rain today, but the 3 days, the Saturday, Sunday, Holy Saturday, Easter, Easter Monday, and things had started getting quite much better on Good Friday anyway. So, and I was hoping to go to Mass on Sunday, but my knee was just a mess. However, I was rewarded for my inadequacies because my neighbors decided that they wanted to have their Easter family gathering. The two parents there, so their small son and his mother, whom I'm very fond of. They came over and they cooked the whole thing, but I provided the dining space and my apartment. Stephen is meticulous about these things. He is very Japanese. He doesn't want clutter to be on view, and therefore we have very little. As I've told you before, I'm Francis Bacon, messy person, and he's not. So it's all very tight. It was very easy to do, and the we went shopping on the Saturday, which is one of the reasons I think my leg was a bit. And we had to get down to the butchers. Now the butchers, because Stephen's a vegetarian and well, pescatarian, and therefore, despite my meaty childhood as the son of a butcher, we don't eat meat, we don't buy meat, we don't cook meat, but my neighbors do. And so we went to this butcher shop and run by two Arab brothers. And we walked in there, and the guy was on his own, and French matrons are demanding. So he has this expression, permanent expression of, now what? Because I had learned from when I went with the neighbor, the husband, to do veal, because I'm very fond of veal. Veal and duck are really my favorites, more than any other form of meat. And so we went in and bought veal. And the guy got out the knife, and my neighbor said, that's not the right knife. So they got out the veal knife to cut the veal properly. And the veal was simply exquisite. This was for New Year's last year, 31st December. And this time around, with Easter, we did a different tack. We bought, because they didn't have the veal we wanted in the form we wanted it, we bought a very nice loin of beef. I think you say loin of beef. And it was very expensive. I think it was 100 euros for what we bought. And there was enough for, well, the little boy doesn't eat very much, so there was enough for 2 adults, 2 rounds, so 8. So it was a reasonable price, really. Superb, oh God, superb. And he used the right knife, so there we are. But the interesting thing was that they produced, my neighbors produced their own foie gras. And I know, but it was superb. But I know. And the trick I'm telling you about is not the foie gras per se, but it's what we had with it. We had a Sauternes, which is a French, a Bordeaux wine, local Bordeaux wine, sweet wine. And we talked about this because Sauternes has a reputation better than Marsala or Madeira, but the same problem applies. And this is the cheap versions, which we use, I think, in Britain and America for cooking, has fixed the reputation. So they don't have a good reputation. It's something you just cook with. And of course, the French, oh my God, you cook with this stuff. No, you don't cook with it. You choose something perfect to serve with it. And you eat it. And the Sauternes from this, Bordeaux sweet wine is it's not that close to Entre-deux-Mers, which is the white wine region, but nearby. And it was just excellent, the combination. And then my neighbors, my neighbor's a foodo extraordinaire, said, oh, you think That was nice. Just wait till we get to the Comté at the end, which apparently marries up with Sauternes in the most uh, marvelous way. So it was just excellent. Yummy from beginning to end. We had a kind of cream cake I've never eaten. I couldn't identify the cream in it. It's a French speciality, and they did that. And it's quite sweet because with the various things like the start and the fagua way, we need bread. And my neighbors, there's a boulangerie in the middle of the street, right across from the church on our street, and that's where they buy their bread. And I don't. I buy my bread because we're in the same building, but they go up the street and I go around the corner. I go to our Gascon bakery because I much prefer it. And very kindly, they went and bought the Gascon bread for me just to keep me amused. And the Gascon bread led to a discussion about consuming and wasting bread. Pain perdu, the French dessert, is a way of using bread that otherwise would be lost. And when something's cooked fresh each day, in the case of baguette, the baguette's like a weapon the second day. I mean, you could chase small children with it with great effect. And so it's almost inedible unless you put a wet towel around it, what have you do it, or cook it up in some ways like pain perdu. But I always buy and eat everything on the day. And a baguette is, when I'm on my own, is too much. So I've relapsed into a boule, a Gascon boule called Petit Gascon, the little Gascon. And this works really because it's easy for me to consume. The boule is quite small. So if you only experience a boule buying as Marks and Spencer's, then you know that it's a big lump. But this is, well, not lump is unkind because it's quite soft bread. It isn't at all like Gascon bread because Gascon. The difference between Gascony and the other place is Marie Antoinette and D'Artagnan. D'Artagnan is an upgraded peasant. That's unkind, but he's super job building bread, and that wasn't Marie Antoinette's goal at all. Coming from Vienna, she wanted a pâtisserie, and it's exquisite. I mean, really, when you have chausson de pomme, chocolatine from this place up the street, it's as if Marie Antoinette waltzed into the room and waltzed out again. But when I go to the Gascons, then the bread is this dense peasant, real deal thing. And to go into it, I mean, the ovens, I think I've told you before, are 1757. Bread has been built and cooked on this premises since Louis XV. And it's just redolent of artisan excellence. And the whole experience, I go there for breakfast occasionally, and breakfast in France is like the Last Supper. Everybody but Jesus is there. I mean, the pompier, the firemen, and the policemen, and come in, and the street workers, and we all share the table together. And it's bonjour this and bon appétit and all that, and it's very agreeable. The French sometimes the French are mocked for the hollowness of solidarity and fraternité and that kind of thing, but there it is. Social classes completely mixed, without restraint, in very good spirits and very agreeable. And the food, of course, is superb. So this is the deal, the background to our meal. We had an excellent meal. It went on, when did we start? We started at 12. And my neighbor who had wanted to have something to talk about, and she's like me. She's a late night person. So we talked until 2:30 in the morning. I mean, 14.5 hours. There was a break. They watched a movie. They went back to the house and watched the movie with a little boy. And I went to bed. But other than that, we continued continuously. And at the end of it, we ended it. But, and so Monday was recovery day. I wasn't hungover, a little bit hungover. We didn't drink a lot, but we drank some really, really nice things. And I inflicted on them just trying to keep up my end because it's very difficult for me to keep up my end. And my end consisted of a green chartreuse, but the elixir. The elixir version is as far as I know, one of the most elevated of all the forms of green chartreuse. And it is not in any way, it's related to, it's like cousins of the real thing. But this is a royal commission to the monks of this monastery in Paris in the 17th century. And so this tradition has come down, the recipe and what have you. And I inflicted on my wino neighbors, and they were astonished. It cost hundreds of euros a bottle, and it was given to me as a gift. But I'm just another out of this world kind of thing. So, out of this world. This is what we're talking about. That's my theme today. And it's the accoutrement to the way of life, to the quality of life, which makes so many things worth doing and life worth living, even when you're struggling with, chapter 24 of the Squicky Long March. And it helps. Everything helps. Anything helps. And we can talk with you tomorrow if the sun's still shining. Ciao for now.